Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to use this, which is a colorless blending pencil. So what you do is with colored pencils you'll do your layering and have your gradient here, and then if you want it to be even smoother and blend even more, you can see here it looks a little rough from some of my pencil marks from my colored pencil. So what you do is this is basically just a colored pencil without the color. It just has the wax and not the color pigment in it. So what it does is it just blends it and smooths it out. So I'll go ahead and show you here. So what you want to do is you want to start out sort of light to a medium pressure, and it just, what it's doing is basically just taking the pigment that you put down with the colored pencil and pushing it down into the paper and smearing it together so that you can't see as many of sort of the grain lines or some of the white from the paper. But you want to make sure you have quite a bit of your other colored pencils put down so that it has something to smear around and blend. Because if you don't have enough of your regular colored pencil pigment on there, it won't have very much to blend with, so it won't work as well. So what you want to do is, so when you start to blend, you'll get some of that colored pigment on the tip here, which is good because it's blending it, but you just want to make sure you wipe it off every once in a while, because like if you get the orange on it and you go down here and you start blending it, it might mess with the color down here. So you just want to wipe it off, or you can use a scrap piece of paper, or a piece up here, and it'll sort of, see how that got that little bit of orange off there. So if you have a scrap piece of paper, or when you sharpen it, it will take some of that off. But you want to do that every once in a while so it gets some of that pigment off there. So you can do it either from dark to light or light to dark. I usually do it light to dark, but you can do it either way. The only disadvantage of doing it from dark to light is the thing I was talking about. You have to clean that off quite a bit. If you do it from light to dark, you don't have to deal with that as much because there's not as much dark pigment here, so it blends better that way. And also when you're blending, you can sort of go in different directions. So you can go this way and then this way, cross hatch a little bit. And if you want it to be even more smooth, you can do little circles so that you don't get those lines as much. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and blend this a little bit. And so with this makes it nice and smooth. So if you're making or you're drawing something that's really smooth, like a car, let's say, usually cars are nice and smooth on the surface. So you want that to be nice and smooth. Or if you're drawing like a nice round smooth ball or anything that's nice and shiny and smooth, you really want to use a blending pencil. Or you can also use a white colored pencil. But the white colored pencil, it does lighten the colors. So that's where this is nice, because it doesn't change the colors at all. It just blends them together. There's also other ways. There's like solvents, like alcohol, mineral spirits, stuff like that you can use that blends it. I personally haven't ever used those before. I use either this blending, the colorless blending pencil, or just a white colored pencil. And sometimes, like this one isn't near as bad as some, to where it doesn't need blended as much as some other ones, but you can tell it's already making it look a lot smoother. So a circumstance where you wouldn't want to use a blending pencil is if you're doing something to where you want it to have a rough texture, maybe like a rock surface or brick wall, something like that, where you want it to look rough. You wouldn't want to smooth it out. So once again, this is for something that you want to look really, really smooth. Even if you're doing a brick wall, I mean, I guess you could smooth it out a little bit in certain spots if you wanted to, but this is mainly for really smooth surfaces that you don't want any rough texture on. Now, if you're doing like a full background, like see these colors from like a yellow to an orange to where it's sort of like a sunset color. If you're doing like a full background that was a sunset, I don't know that this would be the best solution. I mean, I guess you could, but it would just take a long time because it's a big background. You can use like pastels would be a quicker, a chalk pastel to be specific. That would make it a lot faster. Those are not as clean of a way to do it though. This gives you a lot more control as far as getting in tiny little, like if I was wanting to do these corners, a lot more control and precise blending. So I'm doing sort of big circles right now, sort of blending. And I'm starting to press a little bit harder so that it blends even more. You want to do it sort of light to medium at first just to see how it looks, how it's blending. And then you can push harder as you want it to be more blended. One thing that I would advise is before you start blending this and pushing down really hard, which basically seals your drawing for the most part. If you're pushing down really hard, you want to make sure you're pretty much done or you're where you want the drawing to be, because like I said, it basically seals it where it's basically your final touch on the drawing. If you do it light to medium, you can still adjust it a little bit, but once you start pushing down really hard, it's basically sealed where you can't put any more layers down. So just be aware of that. Alright, so I've got this sort of blended where I want it. So you can see it blends a little bit better. Up in here, it didn't blend real well. I don't think I got enough of the darker orange pigment right in here. But it blended pretty good throughout in here. Looks pretty good. And then also I'll show you, so this is one that I did in one of my other videos. So this one I did a combination of the white colored pencil and this blending colorless blending pencil, and you can still see sort of in this one I didn't put down quite enough pigment, so you can still sort of see a little bit of the white in between there, but that one blended pretty good. So the blending pencil is pretty good for that, especially if you're wanting a nice smooth gradient like this. It really helps with that, especially not changing the color. This one, like I said, was a combination of the white colored pencil and this, so it is a little bit lighter than it was originally. So there's multiple ways of blending colored pencils. This is just how to use this one here, which is the colorless blending pencil, which is pretty effective, especially when you don't want the color to change at all. A lot of times I use either the white colored pencil or this colorless blending one, depending on what I'm wanting. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And so I wanted to show you, this is one of my drawings I did of the Mandalorian. The reason I brought this out is because you can see in the helmet, there's different shades of gray here to where I had to blend some of it, and it needed to be really smooth because his helmet's smooth. There's still some spots in here where it's not completely blended, where you can sort of see there's a little bit of texture, rough texture, where it should have been a little more smooth. But right in here looks pretty good. Right here is not too bad. And then right here on this part looks pretty good, nice and smooth. Right here, nice transitions. So that's something where you can, it's where you would actually use it in a drawing. So I used I believe I used a white colored pencil to sort of blend some of this in here. But you can use, and then I used the non-colored one for back in here because I didn't want it to be much lighter. But right in here where you're sort of blending it, you can use white. But either way, looks like I should have done a little bit more though, because it's not quite as smooth as I wanted it to be. But that's an instance where, you know, this all needed to be smooth. So that's something that you could use a blending pencil or a white colored pencil to do to help you blend that. But the most important thing to remember is, for one, you have to have your gradient and your the shading and stuff done and where you want it before you start using a blending pencil or a white colored pencil to sort of seal it, because then it's sort of set. Like I said, if you do light to medium, you can sort of adjust it a little bit, but not a whole lot. But yeah, so that is pretty much how you use this colorless blending pencil. And you basically use a white colored pencil basically the same way, except for you have to be a little more careful with that one, because once again it will change the color of what you're blending. And if you push too hard, you can make white streaks in there. Compared to this one, you don't have to worry about that because it's just wax. So thank you guys for watching. Please let me know if there's any other tutorials that you would like me to do. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.